Alright, so when Joann's announced it was closing a few months ago, I went absolutely bonkers and bought a whole load of fabric. And I got these two, which I envisioned in making a very like moss fairy inspired dress with. And that was 5 months ago. It's been on my to-do list for a while, so I am going to challenge myself to make this dress in 1 day. And because I only have had the idea in my brain, the first step is sketching.
So I had an idea in my head for a long time, which was the very first iteration of the dress that I sketched, and it wasn't quite exactly what I had hoped. So I went online, researched some moss, and really took inspiration from its shape and just wanting to really emphasize the texture and variation in shine that the fabric had. For this project, my plan was to go with French seams because I just wanted it to look really nice, be really pretty, elegant. That was the goal, like make a princess dress basically. And so then I accounted for that for my patterning. After I cut it all out, I just added another 1/2 inch to each piece.
Okay, overall, if it's good, the amount of seam allowance I gave it did account very well for the French seams. I would just say the only note I have is I just want to make it, I think maybe like an inch longer. I am so used to underestimating where my waist is. Yeah, at this point, it's just standard practice, but overall, it works, it fits. I made sure, because I really wanted this to be I completely forget the name of the neckline, but I wanted points, I wanted pointy, to contrast against what would be the puffy sleeves and the big poofy skirt. I also ended up procrastinating this like all day, so I don't think I'll get it done in 1 day. I can get the pattern done and maybe sew the outer layer of. Okay, today is what you call a very late start in the day, a slow day. That's what it's called, slow day. Like my brain right now. But I will finish this dress today. I know I said I would get it done in 1 day, but let's be real. I only worked on this for like 3 hours the first day maybe, so that's a whole 21 more hours I have to work on it. But yeah, we're gonna finish it today. We have the pattern all good to go. Just gotta cut it out and circle skirt, and it's done!
Now we are finally to the part where I've mustered up the courage to cut my fabric. Now, I gotta say, this was really a nerve-wracking process once I began because I learned very quickly that brocade phrase very, very quickly. So I needed to work fast once it was cut.
We're gonna safety pin this to just like double check it before it is sewn up, because I do not want to sew this whole thing and then have to add fabric. I'd rather add a tiny little panel in the back, because yes, I know I did do fittings, pretty sure it'll fit, but you never know. French seaming, quite the fabric eater, might have pinned it upside down. That's okay, it just won't be right side up. Okay, now with the safety pins, I know it's not the tightest thing ever, but if it's just the slightest little bit tighter, I think we got a winner here. It fits very well, very shiny. Yeah, this is going great, no problems. Except I don't actually have a zipper, which I was gonna try and zipper this, but instead I think I'm just gonna try and force it on. I can't always seam rip it, because I don't think I'm gonna French seam the back. I'm just gonna regular sew it. So I could always seam rip it and add a zipper in later, but that's for later. My phone is gonna die at any minute, but it is all ironed. It's all nice and pressed. The bottom, however, is fraying, so I'm not actually gonna try it on until I'm able to get the overskirt sewn onto this, because the plan is this, and then the underskirt will be directly connected to the overskirt will be directly connected to. Alright, I'm back. It's storming. I've done the math though. I know how I'm gonna cut the overskirt. I don't know why that was so stressful for my brain to figure out. We're gonna finish this. finish it. Let's finish this.
Now the final step in this whole process was making the circle skirt. Now I did overthink this quite a lot because I wanted to maximize the fabric that I was using, so I spent a lot of time toying around with the best measurements until I finally landed on ones I was happy with in order to use the most fabric possible. And then it was just a matter of cutting and sewing it together. And then I had to cut 2 rectangles for the sleeves and weave some elastic into them. And of course, my least favorite step in any project, hemming. The dress was done. This was a much quicker project than I was expecting. I also realized I had no footage for it when I was editing compared to most. I did this quite a while ago. I just really have not wanted to edit things. I thank you for your patience, and I'll see you next time.